Ever the Villain here with my take on the neighborhood watch issue. Chronologically, let's look at this that way. Recently, past few weeks, past few months, there's been an increase, let's say, in some larger scale crimes, things people are seeing more and paying attention to more, and possibly in some people's minds, a decrease in police activity, police coverage, here nor there. Separate subject, put a pin in it, come back to it. So, a group of citizens took it upon themselves to start discussing the idea of a neighborhood watch. Excellent. Awesome. Love proactivity. So, they agreed to start with having a meeting, Locust Street Park, I believe, about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago now. And here's where the problems start. Now, first of all, let me say, I'm going to make some comments here that involve the police department. I'm talking about the police department as a whole, as a group. If there are any officers out there or friends of officers who feel the need to take this personally, quite nicely, cram it. I have opinions on some people, and I'm very free about sharing those. They don't hold water here. They have nothing to do with this issue. If I felt like attacking officers, certain officers personally, I would have no problem doing that. And I think I've already demonstrated that quite clearly. Anyway, so the very first meeting, the police department sends a representative, and they send the newest officer on the force. To me, that's kind of a slap in the face. Again, this is nothing against this officer. She's a very nice young lady. I've encountered her a few times, but what questions were they expecting her to answer? And to me, that was just, even if it was an oversight, it was a very bad oversight. And a lot of good questions were raised, but I think the most of what came back to me out of it was, and what we're hearing a lot of is, when you see a problem, man, call 911, call 911, call 911. Okay, folks, that's a given. And I spent maybe more than half my life teaching that to preschoolers, kindergartners, and elementary school children. And to keep being told that over and over and over again, as an adult, I find condescending. And I wish more people would too. There's no issue with people calling 911 or not knowing what to do. We're not children. There are response issues. They exist. And for people that don't want to acknowledge them, but feel the need to be involved in this, we've got to do something about the crime that's going on, you're clueless. You're not going to affect anything. So the meeting takes place. And then representatives of the borough, I guess the police department and the mayor, contacted the spokesperson for the group. He agreed to, we're going to have a meeting with these guys, but they're telling us they only want this. Here's where you have to pump the brakes. If you want to bring a group of people together to effect some sort of change, the only people who can dictate how your group operates is the vocal and active majority of your group. Should the police department be involved actively in any neighborhood watch group? Absolutely. Should they be coming to you and dictating how you run that group? Absolutely not. The police department should be thankful that a group of citizens wants to help them out and wants to alleviate what they present as a burden to them as well. So they, in my mind, should be coming and saying, what are your plans? How can we work with you? What are you seeing? Now, don't get me wrong, there absolutely needs to be a forum and a quorum and an agenda for handling these things. You can't have 500 people sit in front of the police chief and the mayor and say, you're horrible people and you're not doing your job. And I don't think anybody here thinks that. And to hear that that might be what they're thinking, that kind of bothers me too. Because again, none of you are children. I'll openly state I have not been part of these community watch meetings, and I probably won't be. But again, another separate issue, pin in it, come back to it later. But I just feel that this entire group is being condescended to. So about halfway through this process, when it said, okay, this is what the police department thinks and this is what we're going to do. Well, a good bit of people felt shot in the foot right there. Because here now this is going to dictate how we're going to operate this. 3/4, if not most, of the people who are actively involved in this, who feel that this is an issue that needs to be corrected, feel that it's an issue that needs to be corrected because the police department is failing. If they weren't, none of this would be necessary. None of it. Now, when it comes to budget, coverage, how they do things, that's a whole nother video, folks. Put a pin in it, come back to it. There's a failure there. You can't ask people who have shown and demonstrated their inability to handle an issue, come handle this for me. What change are you affecting, and what change are you expecting? So a lot of people felt condescended to and said, well, that's the end of that. And as with anything like this, the man heading things up felt frustrated and said, all right, hell with you, not doing it. Everybody's got an opinion and it's not the same as mine. Brother, I have that opinion. I have that problem every single day of my life. Who are you doing this for? Who are you trying to please? Everybody's going to question what you're doing. I'm questioning how you're going about what you're doing. How much does it mean to you? Now, I was polite enough to come out and say, hey, I hope my opinion and my thoughts on how this is working didn't knock you back, because I don't want it to. I really don't. I applaud anybody at all, that takes the initiative to do something positive for their community in any way, shape, or form. I'm never going to knock anybody for that, ever. The knocking comes from people you are expecting and need the support of. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe the majority of your group feels that you can just sit back and the police will proactively try to work with you on this issue. Man, I wish that would happen too. Honestly, I could care less how it happens as long as our streets are quieter and people are safer. I don't care who does it. I don't care if the Coast Guard comes in and does it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, people are going to get frustrated. Yeah, people are going to have their own opinions. There have been people in this town for years that have tried to pull off the same concept and have been hit with roadblock after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. And it's not only other people's opinions, it comes from higher up too. Just last year, there was an individual that was busting his ass to try to make some positive changes here, and he got it from every single angle, every time he tried. And it came a point where it wasn't worth it anymore. Is this necessary? Right now, yeah. Can it be accomplished? Yes. Is it going to be accomplished with an outside entity dictating what it is you're here to do? What it is the Community Watch is here to do? I don't believe so. I don't, but that's my personal opinion. And again, that's why Ever the Villain exists. For me to sit here and run my mouth somewhere where if you don't agree, you don't have to listen to it. And if you do agree, hey, you're a buddy. You're a good brother. So, I'm going to leave that here for right now, because there is quite a bit to be said on some of the attached issues, but I'm not here to talk anybody's ear off. I want this to work, but I want the people to do it. We managed a neighborhood watch here in the strictest and easiest possible sense, in the fact of we've all gotten to know our neighbors, we've all gotten to look out for our neighbors, and 90% of the problems that we have here are passerbys, and somebody who's looking out for somebody else deals with it pretty quickly. What scale is this change needed on? And how much are we all willing as individuals to change in order to accomplish it? You folks have a good day. Take care of each other.